Hi everyone, I'm Helen. Today I'm making a video for those who are preparing for their Ielts exam, and I'm going to explain some vocabulary essential for writing task number 1 on your Ielts exam. This vocabulary you will need to describe a line graph, for example, or a bar chart or a table, so any type of presenting information for the writing task 1. And first, let's have a look at how to describe some upward trends. So if numbers or figures which are represented on a line graph or a bar chart, if they go up, how to illustrate this. First, let's have a look at some verbs that you can use to describe it. Rise, so 3 forms are rise, rose, risen. You can say, for example, that the numbers rose from 100 to 150. Or if it's for future, you can say that the figures will rise by, for example, 10%. Or the number of overseas graduates had risen by 10%. The next verb that you can use is increase. For example, you can say that number of female graduates increased from 100,000 to 150,000. You also can use the verb go and gone, go. For example, the amount of money spent on healthcare went up from some sum of money to another sum of money. Or the amount of money spent on healthcare is predicted to go up by 30%. You can use the word climb when the rise is essential and quick or sudden. The same as jump or surge when this rise is sudden and quick. For example, figures jumped or surged to 100 people, or jumped or surged by 50%. You also can use the verb peak. Peak is to reach the highest level. For example, the amount of money spent on healthcare peaked in 2001. Also, you can use the verb overtake if you compare two different things. For example, the amount of money spent on education overtook the amount of money spent on healthcare. So these are the verbs that you can use to describe the upward trend. Don't forget to use also some figures and numbers from to or by. It's really important for Ielts task number 1 to use different forms and different phrases, to change verbs, use a lot of synonyms, because you will be scored according to the use of your vocabulary. And to describe the upward trend, you can use not only verbs but also noun phrases. For example, you can use one sentence and with a verb and then switch it for a noun phrase. So let's take a look. To experience a rise, or to experience an increase, or to experience growth, or to experience the strongest growth rate. For example, the population of some country experienced a rise of 30 million citizens. You also can use the verb see. For example, the figures saw growth in female graduates. So you also can use such noun phrases as a rise took place. So a rise or an increase can take place or occur. You can say, for example, the highest rise took place in 2010, or the biggest increase is predicted to occur in 2018, for example. So again, you can say a rise in numbers, or an increase in figures, or in the amount of money spent on something. You may also write the verb reach, to reach the highest level or to reach a peak of. For example, the numbers reached the highest level in 2001, or the numbers had reached a peak of 1 million people by 2007. Let's have a look at some intensifiers that we should use in our writing task number 1. So let's move on to the next part. So let's take a look at some intensifiers. You can use them as adjectives and as adverbs as well. So you can use the following adjectives: significant, marked, considerable, substantial, sharp, essential, dramatic, or sudden. For example, you can say that there was a significant increase in numbers, or a marked growth took place in 2001, or a considerable increase occurred in male graduates, or there was a substantial growth, or there was a sharp increase. The essential growth took place, or there was a dramatic increase in figures. You may also use adverbs such as significantly, markedly, considerably, substantially, sharply, essentially, dramatically, and suddenly. So you can use a noun phrase with the adjective, and you can use verbs with adverbs. For example, prices rose significantly, or the number of ill people increased markedly, or the amount of food consumed rose considerably, substantially, sharply, essentially, dramatically, or suddenly. The next we have some adjectives and adverbs you may use to illustrate some low or small change. So let's take a look at some adjectives. You can use slight, slow, marginal, less marked, brief, gradual. For example, you can use a noun phrase and the adjective. For example, a slight increase took place in 1991, or there was a slow growth in numbers, or the marginal growth took place in 2003, or the numbers saw a less marked growth in 2012, or a brief growth happened or occurred or took place, or there was a gradual growth in figures. And you can use a verb plus the adverb. You may use such adverbs as slightly, slowly, marginally, less markedly, briefly, and gradually. So gradually you can use if this change was not so quick. For example, the numbers increased gradually. So you can say, for example, the amount of money spent on this sphere increased slightly, or slowly, or marginally, or less markedly, or briefly, or gradually. If you use some of these adjectives or adverbs in your writing task number 1 on your Ielts exam, you will achieve a higher band score. So that's it for now. I hope that this vocabulary will help you to achieve a higher score on your Ielts exam. You can visit our YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe. There you will find lots of videos for Ielts preparation, and as well as just for practicing and studying English. Have a great day. Bye bye.